I became very nonchalant, but this what y'all wanted, right? To me not give a fuck? Congratulations. Now I really don't give a fuck. All right. What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Soty 2023 Contenders Tier List. Yeah, the Thrasher. I should make that clear. It's the Thrasher Skater of the Year. The only award we have in skateboarding. The one thing that everybody looks forward to. It's like our Christmas. It's like our Super Bowl. There are no other awards. Trans World died. They used to do stuff. Skateboard Mag used to do stuff. Other brands used to give people things to care and argue, and that's it. They're all gone now. And all we have now is Thrasher Skater of the Year. And I think there's a lot of fucking noobs out there who don't really understand exactly what Thrasher Skater of the Year is, what it's supposed to represent, any of that shit. All they know is that it makes them fucking mad. Last year was incredible. We had Nyjah, Louis Lopez, Tyshawn Jones, and that one ginger kid that looks like he would bite people. That was amazing. I thought that after that year, I thought every year was going to be like that. That was a fucking banger of a Soty playoff. I pissed Tyshawn off so badly with facts and logic that he called me racist. I think people have this idea that Soty should be like this objective, calculated look at everything that went down this year. It's like, well, what amount of stairs did this person grind versus what amount of stairs did that person grind? And then you add all of the clips up at the end, and then there's numbers assigned to them, and then you can somehow academically or mathematically calculate, who the best skater of the year is. That is not how it works. It's not how it works. First of all, it's Thrasher Skater of the Year. So Thrasher is like, what have you done for me lately? That's their primary concern. That's why, how many clicks, how much attention, how much money you give to Thrasher. That's the currency that they deal in. And it's not a conspiracy, believe it or not. There's a lot of people very conspiratorially minded about Soty. Like, it's just Adidas hands them a check, and that's why Tyshawn won. Look, as much as I would love to spread that and agree with that because of how obviously racist I am, unfortunately, I don't believe that. I don't believe that's actually how it works. It's a lot more abstract. It's basically like, think of it like this. Everybody on this Soty list, we're all in like a big, stupid bar in like Portland, Oregon or something, or a possibly even more hipster hellhole than that. And Thrasher is represented by this polyamorous couple, and everybody else in the bar is like peacocking because, one of the people, the dude in this polyamorous relationship, like owns a company, and everyone in the bar wants an internship at that company. So you have to make yourself look as fuckable as possible to this couple, and you hope that they come up to you out of everybody at the whole bar, and they go, "We really like your vibe." That's it. You can get angry, you can get upset. It's fun to get fucking pissed about this stuff, but ultimately, it's a little bit pointless because it's not gonna, you're like trying to grasp at smoke and try to understand what this group of like 6 balding, maybe half of them graduated from high school, skateboarding experts. You're trying to get in their head and try to understand what they're thinking. You'll never understand what they're thinking. So don't even try. The only thing you can do is follow your heart and say, this is who I like. All of that being said, let's get fucking pissed. Let's get mad. Let's talk some shit. All right, first up, Tony Hawk. This is going to be disturbing for a lot of you guys. Sorry, I'm going to be looking down a lot because my setup sucks balls. This is going to be disturbing for many of you because most of you do not know the truth about Tony Hawk. The truth that he's a greedy, old glory hog. As my friend Ted Barrow said to me recently, I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Hawk released a sex tape, which I was so happy that he said that to me, because I think Tony Hawk is possibly the biggest attention whore on planet Earth. I don't want to fucking see him at the X Games competing in Best Trick and having the commentators go, oh, it's so nice to see Tony Hawk still out there. Holy fucking shit. I've seen him enough. And everything he does is marketed as this thing where it's like, oh, this is Tony Hawk's last thing. This is the last time you'll ever see him. Tony Hawk's last 900, Tony Hawk's last video part, Tony Hawk's last Subway commercial. What are we going to get, an Amber Alert when this guy takes his last dump? Thank you, folks. This guy is not fucking going anywhere. This like artificial scarcity that is used to market all of his shit is just ridiculous. He will be up our asses until the day that we all die, or until at least the day that he dies. I pray to God I outlive that fucker. Imagine being Pedro Delfino, who swan dove directly into asphalt, onto his head, off of a truck, and then losing to some decrepit asshole billionaire in full pads and a helmet skating his private indoor. Also, speaking of money, a lot of these guys probably have like fat bonuses and kickers in their contracts for if they win Soty. Like, you already have everything. You really need to release some vert old guy part in prime Soty season? You want to take money directly from the youth? The B-roll for this part should have been Tony cracking infants' necks like glow sticks and sucking the adrenochrome directly out of their spinal cords between invert attempts. Damn, that was a written banger. You guys fuck with my written bangers? Hang on, where's this button? Oh, here. That was worthy of an air horn. Where is Tony Hawk? Where are you, you bastard? Holy shit, there he is. All right, let's put Tony Hawk in the fuck Tony Hawk tier. I think he looks good over there. Hope you guys agree. God damn, he released some sappy Instagram posts today too. I'm so grateful to be considered with all of these other skaters. Fuck you. Pedro Delfino. Pedro definitely lost a few IQ points on that slam, which kind of maybe will make him better at skating. That wasn't even slam of the year though. Evan Wasser, amateur skater for Frog, took a worse slam. It literally looked like he died. But he didn't. He's still alive. I think Pedro's solid. He's got a pretty good case. I wasn't exactly, blown away by this part in the way that I hoped I would be. And I think that's been, a similar sentiment that's been shared by some other people that I've talked to about this. First of all, they built a lot of hype for this part. They plastered photos of him bleeding out of his head in like the Home Depot parking lot in Glendale. Full page ad in Thrasher. On top of that, they released his video part on December 1st, which is an extremely high-profile date. December 1st was the same day that Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on the bus that time. Obviously, what Pedro and Deathwish are saying with this is that the acts taking place in this video are even more courageous than those taken by Rosa Parks on that historic day. A bold claim. Pedro goes pretty big, but sometimes it looks like he's actually going bigger than he is due to the fact that he is quite small. So let's go through some notable tricks in this part. Big ollie into the bank. ABD alert. Now, this isn't a good sign if you're going for Soty. If you're busting out the ABDs, that's not good. Luckily, it was kind of a inconsequential nollie flip into a bank. Diego Todd already did that, but whatever. I really like this line, the 50-50 out, where he kind of like has to dodge the kink at the very end and then like goes with this like layback hand touch thing and then does a pretty sweet front 180. And then there's a square rail kinker 50-50 that looks pretty sketch. What is this, a Nija grind for ants? If you remember last year, Nija did that huge A-frame grind. Then the two enders, gap 50-50 at the NYC pyramid ledges. Pretty cool because hundreds of tricks have been done at that spot and nobody has hit it from the angle. Pedro's hitting them angles that nobody else is hitting. So that was pretty awesome. And then backside flip, switch, hill bomb down Baxter. That's definitely a historic skateboarding move, though didn't quite hit. Overall, the entire product didn't quite hit the way that I had hoped. I'm definitely and the other thing is when you release parts, like if this part came out in February or something like that, everybody would be jumping for joy and high-fiving because we just got a sweet skate part. But when you release it in December, you're asking to be compared and scrutinized against other skaters because you want the award. So we all know that. So a lot of people will be like, no, it was so awesome. Yes, it was awesome, but how awesome was it compared to other awesome stuff that we're looking at? That's the question here. The other thing is, last thing I'll say about this part, and I'm talking a lot about this part because it's one of the, more crucial entries in this list. I'm not a huge fan of the Hell Ride editing style. The guy who filmed this video part also works for Thrasher, and I'm not suggesting that there's collusion or conspiracy there. I don't think it's that interesting. I think those guys are probably just friends and have interests that align, and they probably both like skateboarding presented in this way. I think it's a little boring. I've seen it a lot of times. I don't love to see Pedro's part, him fucking sending it full speed in a Thrasher trucker hat backwards to Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. I just I see 12 videos like that per year that Thrasher drops, and it just doesn't feel very unique. I think it would be more exciting, in my opinion. It's just me. I know a lot of people like that stuff. It gets tons of views, but I think it would be kind of cool to experiment with Pedro. Maybe he should skate to Drake or something. I don't fucking know. I would not be surprised if he won, but I'm not feeling it in my heart of hearts. I'm not even sure that he has a better chance than somebody I guess he probably does, but I don't even know if I like his part more than Rob Pace's, for example. And those are both pretty comparable guys. So let's do Rob Pace next. So Rob Pace, he's a guy. Let me just read you. If you want to get an idea as the kind of skater that Rob Pace is, let me read you his sponsor setup. It's Emerica, Santa Cruz, and Volcom. Anybody who's running that has absolutely nothing to lose. They're going to risk it all to clip up. Rob is all practicality. He is no frills. He's actually kind of like skateboarding Batman. He dresses in all black. His part is kind of like Pedro's again in that it's set to just this distorted, nondescript rock music blasting you while he grinds fat-ass rails. It's some pretty basic skateboarding shit. Even the video is just called Fuck 'em, which is so brainless that I think it's actually kind of a vibe. Yeah, he's not that good at anything besides rails. And even sometimes when he's grinding rails, he did that 50-50 down those smooth kinks, and then he did a frightful pop shove out. My God, that was pretty tough to watch. He does have some redonkulous bangers in here though. Crook to board slide. He's just balancing on that thing. Smith on the curved rail. He was locked the fuck in. Compare that Smith grind to the Smith that Pedro did on the straight on rail that Curran did nose slide on and Jack O'Grady did crook on. Rob's is just way fucking crazier. Let's be honest. So even though, he's not classic, he's got no swag, his style isn't even very good. He's kind of a faceless guy that's difficult to remember. And I probably would have talked shit on him last year, but I see things a little bit differently as I've grown more mature and I've become wiser. And I kind of like what he's cooking up here. Now, that being said, his ender, the triple 50-50 grind, I will be in the minority on this one. I already know. I can read the comments now. I wasn't that stoked on that trick. I did enjoy the... God, this mask is hurting my fucking head. I did enjoy the behind the scenes with that erratic lady who was really fucking pissed about it for some reason. They were skating a rusted rail in a park somewhere that nobody would care about at all, but she was taking that very personally. I thought that was a fun watch. I liked that watch, but the trick itself, the way that it came out, I just thought it was kind of gross. Like the half ollie sort of like hop the 2 times between rails that were like really close together. It was sketchy. It was like a dangerous trick for sure. It just didn't speak to me. I'll be honest. It was a stunt. I'm not going to like remember it as a piece of skateboarding history or anything like that. I'm just not. And I've seen some videos out there. I watched Dumb Data's video. He was comparing it to Jack O'Grady's 50-50 ollie 50-50 that he did 2 years ago in that passport part. And I think that one that Jack O'Grady did was a lot better. It looked a lot cooler, just translated. It was cleaner. And I just like, comparing those two because it's seen as like a step up or something. I don't see that as a step up. I think I see that as like a step sideways. So a crucial piece of info on that, because we are talking about Soty stuff. I heard, this is a rumor, Jack, get in the comments and correct if this is incorrect, but I heard that Rob Pace or his friend or whatever fixed that spot up, made it skatable, and Jack O'Grady went there and did it before Rob Pace had the chance, which is fucked up. That's very fucked up if that's true, and I don't know if Jack knew that at the time. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. He got a cover for that. It was a really fucking big deal. But on the flip side, it's kind of maybe a good thing that Jack did that or stole that trick, because Jack did it really good. If Rob had done that, if there's any merit or truth to any of this, it probably wouldn't have looked as sick. So sometimes things work out for a reason the way that they do. Rob Pace, you and your yucky triple 50-50 grind, where are you? Jeez, there's too many motherfuckers on here. There he is. This might be a little controversial, but I think I kind of have him maybe above Pedro. This feels sacrilegious to say, but that's just my inkling at the moment. I watched all this shit today, and with any of these, with all of this footage, my opinion could change on this, like, because I've watched all this shit so many times, like, and this is so subjective. There's so many, intangible variables. At this particular moment in time, 5:10 on Friday, December 15th, 2023, I like Rob Pace more than Pedro Delfino. Shoot me. That's where I have that. Let's do some smaller names here. Let's go. John D'Lo managed to sneak his fucking way onto this list again. That crafty ginger. But there's no way, John. I'll put him in the dungeon. I will spare him the electric nipple clamps. I'll be honest, John, I am going to need to see you backflip El Toro for me to cast my vote in your favor, even if my vote means nothing. I'm not fucking with you like that. To Jacuzzi Unlimited and all of their riders, a plague upon your bloodline. Rowan Davis, who, dude, I mean, what? I guess you're on this list, Rowan Davis. Maybe that just kind of goes to show you that this year wasn't that strong. You're the third best Australian. Imagine that. There's 2 other Australians on a list that are better than you. That's not good. In my opinion, I don't even think Rowan Davis should be pro yet. I still think that he exhibits quite a few Grom tendencies. Girl is desperate to seem cool, so they're like, oh, this guy is young. Rowan Davis, he can go in the dungeon with John D'Lo. Let's start a Nightmare Blunt rotation down there, shall we? Curran Caples, I'm not surprised to see him on this list. His Vans part was pretty good. Unfortunately, though, Curran is ineligible due to the contents of this interview that was sent to me with him and Jake Anderson. Let me read you verbatim what was said here. It was like the worst thing I could have put on my private account that kind of shouldn't have gone out, and I put it on my real account. Jake caught it, screen grabbed it. Moose liked 10 of my little sister's photos, and she screenshot it and sent it to me. So I put it up and wrote, "Hey, Moose, isn't she a little old for you?" It was up there for like 5 minutes, and I noticed, like, damn, it's getting a lot of likes. Then Jake says, "I called you and said, you posted that on your real account." And he's like, "Oh my God, bye." Curran. Then Moose Snapchatted me and was like, "You got something to say, bud?" I was like, "Oh, sorry, man. My friend grabbed my phone and didn't know the whole backstory and thought it would be funny." He was like, All right, put a passcode on your shit, bro. Now, as funny as that story is, my Soty stands on business. My Soty would not fold immediately if Moose was liking his younger sister's photos on Instagram. My Soty would tell Moose, fuck off. That's what my Soty would do, but that's not what Curran did. Curran, you folded like a bitch. So for that reason, we're going to put you in the, let's see, where's Curran go? Okay, let's do, let's change this to, did not stand on business. We'll put him in the did not stand on business tier. That's where you're going, Curran. Soft as Charmin, bruh. Guys, girl alert. So Fabiana Delfino actually had a pretty decent year. She had a Bronson part, a Santa Cruz part, a Swamp Week Monster Energy video promotion. And there's some interesting stuff in here. She does a board slide on a fake cinder block ledge with angle iron attached. Yeah, the court is ruling an 8-year sentence for that one. No nipple clamps, though, because that would be kind of weird. In this promotional video, Eric Palazzolo, global team manager at NHS, pretty scary shit, he describes her as an ATV.
You can't like really define it. It's not like it's purely street skating. It's not like it's like transition skating. She's like an ATV.
Which I thought was a really original description. You really dug deep for that one, Eric Palazzolo. He also said, her skating is not man.
Her skating, like you can't really like define it. It's not man, it's not woman, it's 100% skateboarder. So I think like her mark is...
No idea what that means. So I was making fun of him for describing her as an ATV, but she actually did a nose manual hill bomb and then navigated her way through a forest of giant butt plugs. True ATV style. We'll put you in the better than Tom Knox. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, we'll put you in better than Tom Knox. I think you look pretty good over there. TJ Rogers. I didn't write any notes for TJ Rogers, but I like TJ Rogers. He has arguably some of the worst tattoos in skateboarding, so he's always fun to watch. He's got like a Native American on his bicep, which looks pretty dope. And, you know, everybody likes to talk about how he beat testicular cancer. Some girl I went to high school with actually faked having cancer, if you can believe that. I think maybe after that diagnosis, he maybe was like kick-started. He was like, man, gave him a new lease on life, you know, changed his perspective a little bit. He's like, I need to start stacking. So, TJ, you're also better than Tom Knox, and you're better than Fabiana Delfino, too, so I'll put you on the top of that list. Dick Rizzo, I'm going to put you in the C tier. Ryan Sheckler, let's just check really quick. How many ABDs did Ryan Sheckler have in his part? I know, same spot, same angle was kicking your ass. I remember it being about 6, is what I recall. Where are you, Sheck? No! God damn it, I was getting right there, too. Okay, let me pull it up on my phone. What to say? Okay, I'm seeing 6. My Soty doesn't have 6 ABDs and doesn't get bungeed into spots. What, are you fucking kidding me? This is coming from a big Ryan Sheckler fan. It's Christmas season. I still remember when my mom had a lot of gifts wrapped up in a trash bag underneath the sink, and this is how my child brain worked. I was like, I can't open it from the top or she'll notice. So I just ripped a hole in the side of it. And when I ripped the hole open, I saw the Etnies logo and I knew my mom, grand slam, one of the only times she's ever gotten me a good gift, Ryan Sheckler signature Etnies. And I was so stoked on those. Ryan Sheckler was my favorite. He did do that pressure kickflip though into the San Diego thingy bank. So that was pretty fucked up. But overall, I mean, the whole part, it was produced, it was disgusting. It was like worse than a Ty Evans Nyjah part in terms of, tactfulness and editing style. So, of course, Ryan, we got to put you in the dungeon for sure. I'll put you in the top because you're my boy. I still fuck with you. And those Jackson photo shoots you've been doing have been really cool. I've been enjoying those as well. You know you're in the dungeon. Come on, dude. No fucking chance you're actually going to win Skater of the Year. All right, let's do Simon Bannerot. Simon Bannerot. So yeah, this is a guy who had the last part in the Lakai Bubble video, and somehow I forgot about him, but I remember liking the part. Lakai has some strange innate property that automatically wipes anything they do from my brain. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, some notable tricks from his part. He did ollie on a narrow slope thing and then wallied off. He's a pretty clever skater. He does this Andy Anderson type trick. Andy Anderson, you can eat shit. I actually enjoy his skating quite a bit, and that's impressive given the fact I'm usually biased against guys who look like their rooms smell like bong water. He looks like that guy that skates for Jacuzzi, but he's like 1,000 times better than him. His ender is an ollie over a rail into a scary, kinky, bunky, banky. And he's also an artist. You will never guess what kind of art he draws. Unfortunately, my Soty does not draw mushroom art. My Soty doesn't do that. My Soty would be a lot more tasteful and intelligent than to take a Volcom t-shirt and draw mushrooms on it. You're probably in the C tier, though. You are that good at skating that despite the fact you draw mushroom stuff, you're still all the way up there in C. You know what would be good if they made a website like this Skatefolio. Maybe this could be added to Skatefolio as a feature where you can learn how to pronounce a skater's name. Ryu Kitazume. A lot of you motherfuckers don't know about Ryu. He's been all over the place this year, and I was very pleased to see Thrasher include him on the list. Is he on the final list? Let me see. He better be on the final list. They didn't put him up. Fucking Christ, dude. You pussies. You should have put it. He deserves to be in the final voting. He is really good. I mean, whatever. He's the fashion king in this group. There's not even a question. Like, I'm sure Miles Silvas thinks he's all fucking drippy, which he is semi-drippy, and he's had a swag upgrade. But you're not even close to somebody like Ryu. He looks like a character from SSX on tour. He did nollie heel front crook on an up ledge. He's wearing a do-rag. Lens 3. This part is iconic. Filming is amazing. Some actually straight up gangsta B-roll. On a creative level, like Jacob Harris and Tom Knox are getting mogged by these Japanese dudes. Yuto, take notes. Fakie ollie, fakie manual tray, then follows it up with fakie manual tray 540 tray. Pretty fucking sick. And these tricks, these tricks like this, you read them out loud, they sound crazy. But when the right person is doing an illegal trick, there's like a multiplier bonus attached to it that makes it even more doper. Nollie heels a massive 13. He popped it high as fuck, caught it at the apex. With how tech he is and how good his style is, his drip factor as well, and how big he's capable of going, I would say he's one of my top picks for Soty. Even though I know he's not making it into the finals, I think he deserves some recognition. There's no question that like international skaters are at a serious disadvantage because you don't get to know their personality very well. I think he showed me enough personality on the skateboard for me to want to put him in the final selection. So I'll put him in the I love you tier because I do love him. I love him even more than Rob Pace. I'm going to go P. All right, making progress. Dylan Jaeb. What the fuck is Dylan Jaeb doing on this list? My God.
Say hi, Daddy. Say hi, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Whose goddamn white baby is that?
Whose white baby is this? This is the most random inclusion to me. Oh my God, that's a little better. Fuck, it hurts. He dropped a video part this year where he's doing his Mike Mo impression at a bunch of really ugly Orange County spots. Dylan skating pretty much looks like he's filming a battle commander. but on street spots. And then he did this big spin that made me want to punch my fucking computer, dude. You and Luan Oliveira are the only people who think that's cool. I'll give him credit, though. The fakey flip to switch tray on that double set was properly wet. Dylan's clearly very talented. He's got a ways to go before he reaches his physical and intellectual potential. He did a kickflip back Smith, I think, on a rail, which was really nice. If he could maybe splice in a couple more tricks like that, so he's not just fucking slow motion, like, you know, self-congratulatory, boned out flip tricks down gaps the entire time, I think he might be onto something. He shouldn't be on this list. He's not ready to be on this list. He already has 200K followers on TikTok. He does not need any more attention. Dungeon. And I'm going to put him... I like him... Nah, he's right there. Bottom of the dungeon where you fucking belong. Taylor Kirby's on here. He did that Spitfire part. I didn't even notice that guy. I like Taylor Kirby. That part was pretty good. But better than Tom Knox. Put him right there. Deshaun Jordan. He's really also random on here. In his picture right here, he even looks surprised to be included. Do they factor music releases now for Soty? Because he's been dropping a lot of fire from the studio. He's been rapping his ass off. But in terms of skating, like his little April thingy was nice. He was in the Money Color of Green Money April video as well. He's had some footage, but nowhere near like, you know, an actual Soty run. So he's also better than Tom Knox. I'll put him right over there. Ryan Thompson's the guy who skates for Roger. Those parts, there was too much shit in those parts. Way too much footage. Leo Romero, come on, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Dungeon. Mason Silva, he didn't make the final list. Mason Silva had a good year. A very good year. I think that this is how funny kind of Soty, the way Soty works is. I would wager if Mason Silva put out that part that he put out, I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your shoe. If he put that out like yesterday instead of March or whenever the fuck, Fakey Ollie nose blunted clipper in that part. Beautiful style. He may not have had the banger of a year that like in terms of single tricks that others have had, but both his parts, the Huff part and the Brian Eno part, they were both really smart, high degree of difficulty, like good trick selection at all the spots. Like he's high IQ and high risk, large scale. Yeah, I mean, he already won Soty, and it wasn't like, you know, planned or in the cards for him this year. But I think that him not making the finals, this goes to show you how important it is to like play the Thrasher game. So I would have Mason. I'll put him in I Love You. I think I liked his stuff more than Pedro's this year. Sure, he didn't have like the Taylor Swift Billboard top charting singles like Switch Ride Down Baxter or whatever like that, Switch Hill Bomb Baxter, but his two albums he released were great. Giovanni, he was good this year. His part was way better than I thought it would be. I knew he was good. Of course, he has the monster patches all over his clothes, which is hard to ignore. What was it? Half cab blindsided into nose grind on that hubba on the Call of Duty board. I liked his part a lot, and I was taken off guard by his skill, so I'm going to put him right up there. Yeah, I think that's about right for him. Rayssa Leal, they keep putting her on the list. Yeah, they put her on the list last year, I'm pretty sure, and just let me consult the stats really quick. She had 5 street tricks this year. Obviously, what Thrasher is doing is they're like, but she means so much for the culture, bro. And that's true. Fine, that's true. She means a lot for the culture. She's the most skilled female skateboarder in the world. She is the chosen one. She's Girl Nija. She's sponsored by BB Seguros, which I thought was a bank, but I did some research and I found it's actually some organization in Brazil that offers alien insurance.
ET causando curto-circuito na sua casa não vai acontecer.
Yeah, obviously they're like accounting for contest wins or exposure somewhat with her because that's the other thing that she does. So does this only apply to girl or does it also work for boy? Because if it also worked for boy, then Yuto's in a better position than we kind of think. But I don't even believe it's like a binary like that. I think it's just like Thrasher being like, oh, well, she's a girl, so we're going to give her some bonus points and put her on the list, even though she did 5 street tricks. So let's put her in better than Tom Knox. That looks good. Yeah, she is better than Tom Knox. Speaking of role models, people you'd want to look up to, maybe skaters that Tom Knox's children can watch. Vittoria's great. She just turned pro for Element this year. She's one of the elite female skateboarders at the moment. She's got good pop, decent trick selection. She still has like some kind of like Grom tendencies or whatever, but given how good she is, it's quite impressive to me that she hasn't just gone like full contest route, because that is the easiest thing to do if you are a girl skateboarder, because that's how you get paid. That's how you make money is skating contests. But she's not doing that. She's just going full street mode. So in terms of pure female street skateboarders, I think she's one of the best, if not the best. I'd put Vittoria in C. Yeah, I like her there. Oh, Patrick Proman. Trevor Colden called. He wants his steez back. Dungeon. Max Palmer. Listen, I love Max Palmer. He's maybe my favorite skater. Should he be on this list? Fuck no, baby. And then, yeah, Dungeon as well. Max Palmer. Dan, I never thought I'd be putting Max Palmer in the Dungeon. I'm going to put him up here with Shecks, though, because I still fuck with you, Max. So let's talk Cyrus. Okay, let me consult the notepad for this. I happen to know that Cyrus had clips in 12 videos this year. Holy shit. That sounds like a lot, but obviously most of them he's just doing like a kickflip over a thing. But he had the last part in the Huff video, and I think most people watching this are probably pretty familiar with Cyrus's skating, especially after that Huff video came out, it has a lot of views. Gaze upon this backside flip switch manual. The word I would use to describe his style is bonerific. Look at this one too, the super fast, super high, super torqued heel flip. He's kind of like an anti-contest skater. You know, with contest skaters, the complaint is it's like, oh, every time this motherfucker throws down, each trick they do looks exactly the same. There's no suspense or surprise with any of this. Like, I already know what's going to happen every time he does kickflip backlip. It looks exactly the same. So where's the joy? Where's the spontaneity? Where's the element of randomness? Where's the fucking humanity? You know, Cyrus has all of that. Every time he pops his board, you don't know what exactly is going to happen. So he's a hipster icon, skated for 917. Now he skates for Limousine. So I know Cyrus is obviously, he's not as big as other skaters on this list, but, you know, it's obviously not all about how big your name is or, you know, how many stairs you kickflipped. A lot of it has to do with how did that skater make you feel. And I gotta say, I felt good watching Cyrus clips. I spend so much time on my computer watching skaters, and he is one of the only skaters to me that still has this like mysterious aura. He's already old. He didn't have like a cover or a fucking pro shoe or anything like that. But in my opinion, the top tier, the top level skating hasn't been as top level, you know, as undeniable as maybe we're used to seeing for Soty stuff now. So if there's going to be a year where a random, a dark horse, dark knight type of figure were to win, this could be the year. Look at this frontside flip. Goated with the sauce. Oh my God, look at that. If skateboarding makes a logo, you could slap Cyrus doing a kickflip on that. No problem. Wally back nose one on the sombrero, stomped with authority. Switch ollie fakie manual half cab flip into the courthouse. That's skateboard history right there. And it was such a good trick that it made Tyshawn uncomfortable. Tyshawn posted himself like 2 days later doing switch frontside flip into the bank on King Skateboard's Instagram. Wow, bro. Congrats. It's so your spot, bro. You're so the alpha. You took your shirt off, you put on your brightest pair of jogging trousers, and did a switch frontside flip into the same spot you've already done 4,000 other flip tricks into. None of that distracts from the fact all you know how to do is flip your board. You going there and switch frontside flipping into it does not prove anything. Because guess what? Cyrus did a fucking manual. You don't know how to manual. I saw what it looked like when you tried to do a manual. You tried to do one last year. It looked terrible.
Down for whatever, whenever, that's
I love that elicited or stirred some response within Tyshawn. That's some Soty level shit. You know, Tyshawn felt threatened. He's a 2-time Soty. If Tyshawn feels threatened by what Cyrus is doing, maybe we should take him seriously. You know what I mean? Crucify me if you want, but I'm putting him in the Soty tier. I don't give a fuck what those bald 5-panel wearing assholes at Thrasher think. Miles Silvas, let's do him. I watched his part like 4 times. I didn't write any jokes or notes. Miles Silvas is really good. He possibly, on paper, has like the best case to win Skater of the Year. I think, you know, he has upgraded his swag a lot from the way that he used to look. His brother, I guess, is a professional soccer player. That's why he dresses like a soccer player. He's mixing like the athletic gear with the skateboarding gear very well. I'll definitely give him credit for that. He borders on some of his lines like a little too like, you know, like into himself. Steez, like kind of, you know, shit, but he is really steezy. That tray he did on Flout was pretty undeniable. It's a great part. It's extremely solid. And the enders with, you know, the front crook and the kickflip front board on that handrail into the hill bomb. I wish somebody filmed it from the bottom, but anyway, those were great. Got a cover for the front crook. He's got a really, really strong case. There's no question about it. He just doesn't speak to me in my soul. Even though, look, dude, look how much of a look how Chad he looks in this. He looks like he's got that Matt Rife surgery. I would put him in the I love you tier, even though I don't really love him. Actually, I'll put him in Soty. Here's the thing: I wouldn't pick him because I just don't like him as much per se. But I think he certainly like deserves it. If he got Soty, I would not argue. I would not make a fuss. That's for sure. Okay, let's do Tom Knox.
Yo, it's time to get rid of this coward right here once and for all. Sick of this motherfucker. Check this shit out.
Rip it, baby, rip it. Yeah.
Yo.
You are a simpering, ill-natured miscreant. You are a preposterous, incestuous nincompoop. You are a puking, boil-brained hamster. I have been a Tom Knox fan. My parents are British. He's a quick-footed Bubba Jackson-type skater. He's got fucked up teeth. There are many things Tom Knox possesses that I also possess. I see myself in Tom. On paper, it's been a really great year for Tom. He had a pro shoe release, and he had a colorway release as well. He had a Thrasher cover, a Dickies part, recurring dream number 15, which unfortunately actually resembled more of a recurring nightmare. Plenty of ads. He's been in the Atlantic Drift videos. He's been all over the fucking place. However, this year, I feel like I have witnessed the birth of a monster. The first thing he put out, he was in Atlantic Drift Istanbul. He was like pretty solid. I was like, okay. Next thing it comes out, his Dickies part, I think, I was just like, I've slowly just kind of like I've been smelling something rotten about him. First and foremost, I don't know whether he's just older, but I think the kind of lines and the quick-footed stuff that he has done just objectively have gotten less clever this year. That's just how I feel. I think he's kind of relying a little bit on his name and the idea that you will perceive what he's doing as, you know, great or inspired or something based purely on the merit that it is Tom Knox doing it, which I think is kind of fucky. I'll get into more detail on that. So, you know, I think about half the things, the tricks, the lines he did this year are legitimately interesting and good lines. Obviously, Soty, you need to dump a bunch of footage, and I understand that. But if like half of what you're putting out is shit, if half of what you're putting out is shit, then that's way too much. You're oversaturating the market with your below average skating. He's kind of seeing what he can get away with a lot of the time, and as a viewer, I find it like fucking insulting. There's a lot of examples. Like I could do a full video about, you know, the problems I've had with Tom Knox this year, but the most brazen fucking example of them all is slow-moing the rollaway of a front board on a curb. fucking excuse me? Do you think that I'm stupid enough to believe that that was hard just because you slow-mode the rollaway? It was over a turd, by the way. It's like I'm being fucking gaslit. Like, him and Jacob Harris believe that, you know, their viewers are such fucking plebs that if they slow-mo something, we're just going to believe that it was difficult. My Soty does not front board a curb. You know, also, that fucking line he did in the beginning of the recurring nightmare part where he does crook, ollie north, and then hard flip. It's like he thinks that he's Versace plug or something. It's like, dude, you have nowhere near the fucking aerial swag to hard flip down a 4-stair or a 5-stair in a video part and make it look good.
You're not that guy, pal.
It's not even fucking close. So I think he's like delusional about, you know, what his tricks look like and what he can get away with. The second thing that, like, and this is kind of out of his control, so I'll give him some credit for this, but what really hurts his skating, I think, is the move away from fucking VX. He did like 40 ollies in a row in that last part. And, you know, that kind of skating where you're just dropping down sets and like pushing down as hard as you can, it works a lot better in square format because there's like this claustrophobia. It gives it some sense of urgency. Presentation-wise, it just fits a lot better. The other thing is the mic on the VX as well. If he's like, you know, in the back street of London skating some crunchy, fucked up spot, you know, and it's square, he's in there like Jacob Harris is up his ass with a fisheye. And it sounds really good while he's rolling over the ground there. It's just like, it makes so much more sense. But when a lot of these clips, he's being filmed long lens on HD. It's just like a way, obviously, wider image. And it just like, it doesn't complement his approach to skateboarding. It just doesn't really work very well. This is one of the things that pisses me off the most this year. Tom Knox is now officially like the #1 Dickies Skateboards mascot. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I fucking hate Dickies skateboarding. He's like a fucking VF Corp billboard and all of this stuff he's been putting out. He's got 4 children for some reason. So it's understandable why he's chasing the bag like a greedy little goblin. All of that being said, you know, we put ourselves in Tom Knox's New Balance shoes, and we can see why he's made the decisions that he's made. But from a skateboarding analysis perspective, dude, your style does not work when you look like a fucking contest skater. Compare him to Jamie Foy. They dress almost exactly the same. New Balance shoes, full Dickies gear, contest guy chain. It's insane. The only thing he's missing from looking exactly the same is Jamie Foy is like obviously a lot of Chick-fil-A, but also a Red Bull hat. Which could happen if he doesn't start pulling out. The reason Jamie can kind of get away with looking like a contest bot is because of how absurdly good he is. Watch his part in Uncrossed. He can do stuff on a skateboard that almost nobody else in the world can do. That front crook, pop over into front feeble is one of the most insane fucking things ever. I actually considered, because I was so disappointed, you know, with this year's Soty run, I considered being like, you know who Soty Skater of the Year is? Jamie Foy in Uncrossed. It doesn't really fucking matter what he looks like. You know, Nyjah puts on a trash bag and a pair of tights, and you know, people make fun of him, but it doesn't matter. Nyjah's grinding the world's biggest A-frame rail. It's undeniable. Nobody can take that away from you. Tom Knox, on the other hand, his skating is a lot more subjective. You know, the perception of what he's doing is way more volatile. So, you know, when you do a kickflip front board on the last centimeter of a 6-inch flat bar into a big flip off a 3-stair wearing a full-on putrid, frumpy Dickies skateboarding outfit, you look like a If you want to do hipster skating, you can't dress like Jamie Foy. The delicate balancing act of your horseshit has been disrupted. Recurring dream part is a pain in the ass. Watching him ollie downstairs for 8.5 minutes is traumatizing. And he doesn't even have a good ollie. It looks like shit. Drop down into backside flip that was so asinine. Like, you could have just thrown down in front of those stairs. But he needs to like spice it up and make it all arbitrary and whack because he's Tom Knox. And also, that backside flip wasn't even worth doing. Like, the backside flip didn't look any cooler because you manualed off a 4-stair before it. And you know, half the time they're zooming in on his fucking feet so much, all you can see is a pair of like white New Balances and some Dickies. He looks like a male nurse. I will admit, even, you know, with this Tom Knox onslaught, I will admit the last 2 tricks he does in this part are good. bad. The figgy flip into the narrow kink bank thing was nice. Even though the filming was like weird, it seemed like they were hiding something with that. But and then also the hippie jump into ollie down the set was also good. But like I said, half the stuff you're doing is good. The other half is like actually infuriating. I was very upset watching some of your parts this year, Tom Knox. Please don't put on a Red Bull hat, dude. And maybe get some of that Dickies stuff tailored. It just looks so bad. I'm not even like trying to be an asshole right now. I'm just being honest. That gear is so whack. Put him in the fuck Tony Hawk tier. I'm not that passionate about anybody actually winning this year. Like, I'd love it if Cyrus won. Like, I'd be stoked. I'd also love it if John Shanahan won. I would be stoked on that as well. I would be, 70 out of 100 stoked if those guys won. I would be 150 out of 100 pissed off if Tony Hawk or Tom Knox won this year. Cody Chapman, he had a good part. I watched both. I watched him in the Bubble video, and he was the last guy to drop on Thrasher. I watched that part too. Really good, solid, but he's got like an evil vibe to him. And my Soty doesn't have an evil vibe. So I'm going to put him in C. Antonio Durao, this guy's sick. He had a cover this year, switch tray flip nose blunt on a rail. He's got like a microdosing LSD type of vibe. He reminds me of Evan Smith a little bit. But not as washed. He did something cool that I liked. He did a boned melon down a double set into a backside nose blunt on flat. This guy is thinking so freely. This is the kind of trick selection that puts you on an FBI watch list. He's like centimeters away from breaking the Matrix. If Antonio Durao, if he ends up, dead in Jalisco, Mexico or whatever because of like a speedboating accident, that's no accident, dude. That is the United States putting an end to that. Cancel flip down a massive set in New York. Backside flips over a rail and then follows it up with a pop shove late flip. I've never seen such illegal tricks done with power and authority in this way. It's like if Jamie Griffin actually skated fast and also did steroids and also looked like Jesus.
Nice to meet you. I'm an artist.
Is he Soty? Probably not. Is he a beautiful king whose talent we should celebrate and cherish? Absolutely. And most importantly, he's better than Tony Hawk and Tom Knox. I don't actually think you'd win, but I like you here with Pedro. You guys are my boys. All right, let's do Jack next. Apparently he broke his kneecap a few months ago, so maybe he would have had some more tricks in this squish part if that didn't happen. But 2 parts this year, 1 in 7 ball. He also had a passport part. A Thrasher cover too for that ollie into the skinny bank in Croatia. Jack pretty much knows 5 tricks. He knows like kick flip, heel flip, tray flip sometimes, 50-50 grind. Maybe you get a nose blunt, switch crook, and then he does switch frontside flip too. He's got like the switch frontside flip of like an elite Woodward Grom. I like the 7-ball part. I think it's better than the squish part. He had a little bit more variance, a little bit more flavor. In his squish part, he literally 50-50 grinds 11 times. So I went back and watched his passport part, the first one that I saw from 2 years ago. And I don't think his skating has necessarily gotten better. I think that he goes bigger now. I think he's gnarlier, but I think he just had like a more well-rounded, well-put-together part back then. Obviously, like that at the 50-50 grind ender is insane. Whether or not he stole it from Rob Pace, we don't know. But yeah, I just like that part a little bit more. He skated the same song like every time I've seen him skateboard now. Like if you look any of them up, you just click anywhere in the video, it's like... It's like Australian rock music, I guess, which is cool. He's putting on for his island, but also like, change it up, experiment a little bit. Your parts just become, in my opinion, a little bit one-dimensional. He just like slingshots himself at a rail, 50-50 grinds it, and that's the clip. If you like that, then you're gonna love Jack O'Grady. In my opinion, if he kind of experimented a little bit, when he does these huge rails, it would better accent them because you didn't just watch like 8 other clips that like really reminded you of the one that was like a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Fun fact, I saw Batman right by this rail. It's by a movie theater in Newport Beach. He also did another cool 50-50. He 50-50'd into the dirt like a little piggy that he is. The last trick he does in Squish is a gap to crook. One of the most insane tricks of the year, to like fly at that full speed. He has so far to grind and doing a trick where you're leaning forward. He loves crooks. Did I mention that's one of the tricks he knows how to do? I'm pretty sure he's not going to win Soty, not because of, my own brain or whatever I think is going on, but actually because Gary Rogers, Skateline host, also Thrasher employee, said on his show,
Didn't do it. Even though the part was incredible, you're still crazy.
he said, nice part, but it's not going to do it. So Gary already announced that he wasn't going to win, I guess. Or maybe he was saying, in my opinion, that's not good enough. But that's kind of, going to be interpreted differently when you work for the company that decides. You know what I mean? You want to hear my impression of Jack O'Grady at a spot? He goes, I reckon I could 50 that. Yeah, that's it. I just think if he expanded his trick selection a little bit, I could see his parts, improving. And that's that on that. I'm going to have Jack in I Love You territory. I'm going to have him next to Rob Pace. I feel like those guys might have beef, so I'm putting them next to each other. John Shanahan, let's do John Shanahan. We'll save Yuto for last. I love Yuto. He had my favorite cover of the year. He ollied over a giant Monopoly piece. Pro shoe, 2 parts, double up, double down. It's got cool sponsors, DC, DGK. Watch out, he might FYB. I just thought of that now. That was not even written. He's smooth, skates a little slower. He's kind of got stuck in the 90s style ledge skater aesthetic, which I actually thought was just for the swag, but now I realize there's a practical purpose for him dressing this way. If you'll notice, he skates a lot of kickers and ramps in this. The height that he achieves out of these ramps doesn't match up to the speed that he approaches the ramps with. He'll just be airborne for way too fucking long. And what I realized is his massive clothes are acting as a parachute. He's just like a fucking flying squirrel. Best street grabs of the year, maybe, besides Antonio. He did a really sick trick on the NYC pyramid ledge. He did nose grind, nollie, big heel out, completely balanced and pressure flip style. I've been watching snowboard videos, so I've been waiting for this to pop up more in street parts because I think it's sick. But he's been building a lot of kickers to unlock spots. He does this one on, this bike rack thing, indoor bike rack thing where he nose grinds the whole thing. I just think it's really sick. I liked somebody is doing it. Somebody's not afraid to. He also has an iconic line where I think he does the Japan air off this bank, and then there's a built kicker that he ollies over a mailbox. He has a blunt tray as his ender on that stupid thing in LA. Which I think Garrett Jenner sort of did this once, but Garrett Jenner did it so badly that I would say the trick was still open. He aired over Bam, kickflip into a triple drop that is kind of like what Tom Knox was doing, but actually cool. I mean, that's pretty much it on John Shanahan. I think he's got the Soty vibe this year. I think he's kind of unique. I like him. I would be happy if he won. I'd like Cyrus to win the most. But I think he's up there. Last but not least, Yuto Horigome. As we were talking about with Rayssa, lots of exposure. She's winning contests. Does it only count because she's a girl? For boys, does street footage only count? I hope not, because Tony Hawk made the finals of the smaller list, so that wouldn't make much sense. So maybe Yuto's park footage should count also. All right. Yuto, he won Tampa Pro, he won Tokyo Uprising, he won an X Games, and he won SLS Tokyo. 4 first-place finishes. That's pretty good on the contest circuit. He also had a dunk colorway. How does that compare to actually getting a pro shoe? I don't know. But it's slightly less cool, I think, but it's still worth noting. Still kind of adds to your Soty portfolio. So he's been in a lot of shit this year, but most importantly, he had a 7-minute Tokyo part, which is about to crack 2 million views. Yeah, did a full review on this, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about it, but some of the notable tricks. Nollie 270 heel flip board slide. Now that's an NBD. That's some Soty shit. Am I right or am I right? Tokyo, a notoriously difficult place to skate. That was solid AF really strong. Then we have his April part, which was the second to last thing to come out on Thrasher before all the candidates got announced. It came out December 11th, which is really late. So some notable tricks from this part. Nollie heel, nose slide down a narrow 13 stair. How about so clean? Switch tail to backside flip out. This is bordering illegal skateboarding, but I actually liked it, and I think he pulled it off. Skateboarding is like stand-up comedy. In comedy, there are no rules. It's all about what you can get away with. You got to know your limits. That's why I'm here in a Batman mask, and I'm not dressed like Adolf Hitler or Nollie front crook to 13 stair at night. Did Nollie suchu grind both ways, and then Nollie front foot flip nose slide, which is definitely NBD on a rail. Even though it's a small rail, it's a small rail. It's not as small as like that one that Guy Mariano did switch tray flip crook or nose grind on. That was like total bullshit. That's basically like bringing an element flat bar to a 4 stair. This part was a little controversial. Some people were not that happy with it. I personally thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. You could kind of see that Nollie front foot flip as like a little bit of an attention grab, like a desperation attempt to grab onto Soty. But I kind of thought he got away with it a little bit. All in all, I think he put out enough strong footage to really like contend with anybody else. He's kind of like the best guy in skating at tech rail tricks at the moment. I don't think this is Yuto's like apex in terms of what he's capable of in street skateboarding. But he's already done a lot to like revolutionize handrail skating, you know, like he's invented or discovered like 4 tricks already. So yeah, he seems extremely busy. Yuto has a lot of Yuto shit to do. He's an Olympian. He's skating contests. He's fucking sponsored by Delta. He still finds time to street skate and put out really good parts. And I think that that's a point to him. Like he could easily not be doing that shit, but he finds a way to appease his corporate overlords and also finds a way to appease the like core skateboard, you know, community as well. He's rich off skating and he's still dope somehow, which is really difficult to pull off. I'd have him kind of in the top range. You could say like, well, he's gonna be better like probably in the coming years, so we should give it to somebody else, which maybe, but that's kind of unfair to him to like kind of project, I think, what he will be able to do. So if he doesn't win this year, he'll probably win in the future, say like right after the Olympics or something. Like the other thing is like he's not going to kill himself probably for a street part. A lot of these companies are paying him so much probably because of the Olympics, and the Olympics are coming up. They're next year. He still put out good footage despite that though. So maybe we'll see Yuto really like put his foot on the gas right after the Olympics. Anyway, that's it. That's my list. What do we think? Tom Knox and Tony Hawk at the bottom. Cyrus, John Shanahan, Yuto, Miles Silvas at the top. I think Miles has a really good chance though. Miles had fit of the year too. He's like a magician crossed with an investigator type of outfit that he was rocking. All right, that's it. I don't want to fucking talk anymore. See you guys in the next video. Something in the way. Ooh.